Greetings again, everyone, and welcome to another episode of OSI Today, the podcast featuring news and views from around the Office of Special Investigations. I'm Wayne Amon from OSI Public Affairs, and in this edition, we continue our special series, My OSI Journey, which showcases the diversity and inclusion of our command-wide members. And today, I'm very pleased to be joined by OSI Command Chaplain, Major Jon Smithley. Sir, welcome to the program and to OSI as the command's first command chaplain. Great to have you with us.
Good morning, and thank you, Wayne, for having me here today.
Now, I have to ask you, sir, right off the bat, has the title First OSI Command Chaplain sunk in yet for you?
No, it has not. I wasn't even sure about it, and I wasn't sure to put it even in my signature block of my emails, and I got it verified.
There you go. Very good. Now, in checking your bio, before we went on the air today, I noticed, something very interesting that you obviously, from your bio, did not start in the chaplaincy or even as an officer. You began as an enlisted troop in supply, as a supply technician. Can you kind of ramp our listeners up a little bit as to how Jon Smithley went from supply to the chaplaincy and from enlisted to the officer ranks?
Yes, sir. So I enlisted in June of 1992, 2 weeks out of high school from Newport News, Virginia. Did 4 years active duty enlisted. And during those 4 years, I did a little bit of night school. I was at Scott Air Force Base. So I was going to Belleville Area College, and now it's called Southwestern Illinois University. I went to night school during some of those 4 years. I got out of active duty in 96 and went to the Air National Guard.
I see.
And there in the Air National Guard, I finished my bachelor's degree in psychology. Then I went straight to the seminary in Fort Wayne, Indiana. But I stayed in the Air National Guard and made staff sergeant in the year 2000.
Right.
Did seminary, stayed in the Air National Guard for those years. And as soon as I graduated seminary, I applied to become a chaplain, also in the Air National Guard, back in the state of Illinois. That was where I got my first church, a dual parish in Southern Illinois. And then I became a chaplain in the Guard and did that for about 5 years, because it took about a year to do the paperwork to go from enlisted to officer and a chaplain.
I see.
Did that for 5 years while being a parish pastor. And then in 2009, I left the Air National Guard and went back to active duty. And that first assignment was down to Tyndall Air Force Base, Panama City, Florida.
Right. Very interesting. I do have to ask, I always ask, when talking to people of the cloth, I guess, as they say, when did you know that it was your calling to become a chaplain and to join the chaplaincy? Was there some one thing or a series of things that convinced you that that was going to be your life's avocation?
Great question. So, I'll back it up further than that. I felt the call that I wanted to be a pastor one day. And at that time, I thought a youth pastor, but I probably felt that call around 12 years old, and I just played with that idea for a little bit. When I went to basic training at Lackland Air Force Base that first Sunday, and that first Sunday would have been around the July 4th weekend of 1992.
Right.
And it was probably a 4-day weekend for most of the staff, so we didn't see the TIs much. But the first Sunday at Lackland Air Force Base in 1992, I said, I want to be a chaplain one day in the United States Air Force. So from the very first Sunday, that was my heart's desire and my goal. And it took me about 12 years to get my bachelor's and master's, and some of that was while on active duty. But my goal was to be a chaplain from the very first Sunday.
Right. Sir, you mentioned earlier that you got a psychology degree during your academic ramping up over the years. How has that really helped you as far as being a chaplain? I would imagine it helps out because you talk to a lot of people, I would imagine, in your line of work.
Yes, and I never would have known that prior or firsthand, but that's where my strengths were, and I was led to go into that area of studies for my bachelor's degree. But and it was an emphasis in counseling, but it was just dealing with human interactions with people, relationships, marriage, family, children, relating to single people, just the whole circle, the whole gamut of dealing with people and relationships, and how can I be effective and communicate and listen to people to then help them. And that was the emphasis of that degree. Right. Little did I know that I would be using that quite a bit.
Right. And here you are. I'm sure you'll be able to employ that quite a bit with the Office of Special Investigations, because the OSI, from the get-go, has always considered itself a very close-knit family. And when you mention the word family, that conjures up that close-knit nature of communication, as you said, and opening up with folks.
Yes, I agree.
Now, getting closer to your beginnings here with the Office of Special Investigations, when and how did you become interested in law enforcement, if you did at a certain point, and subsequently OSI? How did you matriculate to the command, as they say?
All right, so that's a very interesting question, and so I actually had also a desire to do law enforcement in high school. As a senior there in Newport News, Virginia, at my high school, you had the option to do a VOTEC class. Some people did mechanics or air conditioning, auto mechanics, auto body, stuff like that.
Right.
Heating and air. I did law enforcement there half a day each day of the senior year. And I used that to go into the Air Force. I do have a brother that's a police officer in Newport News, Virginia as well.
I see.
So I've always been attracted to that. But being enlisted, and then, as I mentioned earlier, my focus was on to become a chaplain. And I've done that now for about 16 years as a chaplain, some guard, some active duty. Mm-hmm. But how it came to be for me, last year I was attending school at Maxwell Air Force Base, and I got an email from the executive officer of Brigadier General Bullard.
Right.
That email was from Lieutenant Colonel Fernandez and said, "Hey, Chaplain Smithley, General Bullard's going to be down at Maxwell having dinner with all the OSI agents, and you're invited to come. We hear that you're going to be working at the Russell Knox building." And I wrote back, "Sir, my apologies. I don't know what you're talking about." I hadn't.
Surprise.
I hadn't got the email from the chaplain corps yet.
Right.
It was coming, but I hadn't got it yet to notify me that I was going to OSI to be their chaplain.
I see.
So I get this email out of the blue, and I'm like, they clearly have the wrong person, because I don't know anything about OSI. And I just didn't even know about this dinner, but I was invited to go to it. And it was kind of funny because then Lieutenant Colonel Fernandez told our commander,
right,
I think we just notified him or let him know that he's coming here. So it was kind of funny.
Wow.
But that's how I found out.
Yeah.
And then I've been doing that process, the pro staff investigation and all that to come on board. That took a couple months to get done.
Right.
To leave Maxwell to come to Quantico.
Right. Now, Chaplain, again, you've only been with the organization for a short time, but did you encounter any challenges, once you were told that, or assigned, I guess, to be the command chaplain for OSI? And if there were any specific challenges, how did you overcome them?
So, as I mentioned, the challenges were to get orders out of Maxwell, and that's true of any other person in the military. And then also to do the pro staff investigation, so I'd be cleared and accepted to do that paperwork. And they gave me a checklist. The OSI agent down in Maxwell was very helpful. Mm-hmm. And then I had to do the TS application, the top secret clearance application at EQIP.
Right.
And it just took time.
Right.
And so what I learned was, and this is true of anything in life and with any other person, to do a little bit every day, and to do it every single day to get that task done in a very short amount of time so I could get orders and get here. So You just work that list, And when I say a little bit, sometimes it might have been a 12-hour day, but whatever
Sure.
it takes to get the job done and to do it well.
Oh, definitely. Chaplain, was there any challenge in being able to assimilate to the way OSI talks and the acronyms and all the lingo that goes with this law enforcement organization?
Well, I haven't got there yet, so I'm still in the process and in the learning. There's a huge curve here. I'm still in the transition. What I thought was kind of funny, and it's just a small side joke.
Right.
When I got here, it was the day I checked in, I think July 1st.
Uh-huh.
That was probably the day right before the 4-day weekend for July 4th weekend.
Right.
And there was nobody there in the building but me. And I was trying to turn
Wow.
stuff in. And so I thought that was funny that, and I get it. Most people were teleworking and it's a 4-day weekend coming.
Right.
And I show up on that Thursday before the long weekend and I couldn't find hardly anyone.
Wow.
So it's
Well,
just funny.
I would imagine that would be kind of an eye opener, but I'm sure you're assimilating very well since then. You hear a lot about the word inspire. We're talking about the chaplaincy. Inspiration. Is there anyone or anything that really inspires you to do your best, realizing that you're a newcomer to OSI, but leading up to your time here at OSI, what inspires you to do your best?
Okay, thank you for asking that. So I would say after my faith in the Lord, I'm a Protestant Christian chaplain. After my faith in the Lord, I would say my wife, Amy, we've been married. We just celebrated our 25th anniversary.
Congrats.
And so I've learned more from her than any book or anything like that. Not that we shouldn't read and study, but I've learned just as much from her by being married to her for 25 years and having family.
Right.
I would say she inspires me. The joke we have in the house is I'm the major, but she's the colonel, and so she inspires me to do my absolute best every single day, because as a chaplain I should be about glorifying God and loving my neighbor and helping everybody else.
Right.
I'm called to serve, and so she inspires me, my family.
Right.
And then here's what I've learned the last 8 weeks. When I'm on the main side of base and I see all the young Marines, and there's some other branches too,
At
but I
Quantico,
see
right?
them,
Right.
correct. I see them working out and jogging, and they like to run. I jog, but they run.
I'm with you on that.
That motivates me and inspires me because they are the leaders, they are the future.
Uh-huh.
And to see that those young people, and they're working hard and doing their physical PT and all that, that motivates me and challenges me to keep fighting, to keep staying in the game.
Right.
I'm there to serve and help them when that need arises.
Sure. Sure. Kind of a tie into that question, sir. What is the most gratifying part of your job? Not so much with OSI, again, because of your newness to the organization, but the gratifying part of your job as a chaplain.
When somebody comes to my office and knocks and says, "Do you have a minute, chaplain?" or a phone call, or "Can you attend this event?" Either as the chaplain praying or just to attend as the religious leader, spiritual leader of the command, but to attend their promotion or their retirement, or if they have the birth of a child. Sometimes they're getting married and they want me to do that ceremony, or just to attend. Maybe they have their civilian clergy doing it, but just to attend and support them and encourage them to celebrate those victories in life. That's very gratifying.
Right, right.
And when we get to know our people in the good times and the fun and the times of joy and laughter, and when things are okay and they know their chaplain, then when other times things happen in life, they know their chaplain and there's no hesitate. They don't hesitate. They can call.
Right.
And
right.
my job is to respond and to help.
Right. Very, very well said. Now, realizing that hindsight is always 20/20, Chaplain, if you could do it all over again, is there anything you would do differently or change about your road to OSI?
I would say no. Every assignment that I've had, and I think with prior enlisted active duty Air National Guard and now chaplain on active duty again. I think this was our 10th move, 10 assignments. No, I wouldn't change a thing because all of those have prepared me. Everything that I've learned and had to grow through and to mature, the difficult times, the joyful times, that has led to where I am today, and it's made me who I am. Mm-hmm. And so I don't look back and regret on anything. I wouldn't change a thing. I believe every single assignment I've been where I was supposed to be because I was called to be there.
Sure. Understood. Now, again, albeit you've only been with the organization a short time, from your position as the command chaplain, what direction do you envision OSI going into the future?
Now, let me clarify. When you say OSI, is the command going in the future, or
yes,
chaplaincy part?
Yeah, well, your chaplaincy, obviously, as the first ever OSI Command Chaplain, what direction do you see perhaps that position going in the future for the organization?
Okay, well, I'm hopeful, and I envision that the chaplaincy part will grow staff-wise, and I know it'll take time. There's budget concerns, and we always talk about the palm, and
right.
But hopefully that it'll grow. Maybe a couple religious affairs airmen and one or two chaplains, because we see the critical need for that. There is a need for it, and then it's almost like if you'll build this this field and all that, they will come, basically.
Right.
A field of dreams.
Love that movie.
So if I build these fences and you know, the walls of the stadium and all that and the seats, if I lay the foundation and do it well and meet the critical needs of the people, and then the Air Force and OSI see that, hey, this is critical, let's send more chaplain corps personnel to OSI. That's what I envision. Now, I know it'll take time, though.
Sure. It takes you, and you'll be the foundation for it all. I'm sure. Chaplain Smithley, obviously, diversity and inclusion has always been a very important part of not only OSI as an organization, but the military as well. Why, in your opinion, is diversity and inclusion foundational to the success of OSI? Obviously, diversity of thought and whatever, and inclusion is very important to the advancement of any organization. How do you view D&I these days?
Okay, so I'll give one or two small analogies. Of course, they're not perfect, but in the realm of sports, say a baseball team, you have starting 9 people.
Right.
I don't need 9 catchers on the field. I need 1 catcher and 8 other different positions, one which includes a starting pitcher. So you have 9 different positions. That's diversity and inclusion.
Right.
I also have to have a deep bench. I have to have reserve players, utility players when people get injured. I have to have more relief pitchers and a couple backup other positions. So I just can't have 9 catchers on the field. That won't do well.
Right.
So it's 9 different specific different positions and players needed for that baseball team. The same would be true for the NBA. My starting 5, I don't need 5 centers.
Right.
I need 5 different key players, and when we bring them together, it makes one team.
Sure.
And we need that diversity of thought and background and education and different experiences. And when we bring that together, we're much stronger.
Very, very well said. Now, if you can, put on a recruiting hat momentarily, if you could. What advice, if any, would you give someone who would like to join OSI? Again, from what you know and have been able to glean so far of the organization, would be something you would tell somebody that would like to join the organization? How would you pitch OSI to someone?
So I would say, and this could be true of the Air Force or any other branch, but specifically OSI, because that's what we're talking about, that we need people of character. We need people of integrity.
Right.
We need people that want to excel in their academics, their education, their physical fitness, their finances, basically every aspect and pillar of their lives.
Right.
We're looking for excellence, almost like a center of excellence here, and that's what OSI is.
Uh-huh.
But I want to harp on the character and the integrity and the honesty, because that's really the foundation of everything in life. It has to be solid and trustworthy. It has to be true.
Right.
And that's what we're looking for men and women when we recruit special agents and staff and so on.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking for people of character, integrity, honesty, and that excellence in everything we do. And we can't compromise on that.
Right.
Our national security and our interests and what we're doing as a country in OSI are too great and valuable, but we can't compromise on that at all.
Right. Very, very well said on that account as well. Chaplain Smithley, before we wrap things up on our program, is there anything else that you'd like to add, sir?
I would say that I'm grateful as the first chaplain, command chaplain of OSI, and really the first chaplain of OSI.
Right.
He just happens to be the command chaplain. I'm extremely grateful, and gratitude goes a long way in life. It's kind of like humility. It's you have to have both, but being grateful and having an ounce of humility go a long way. Because when we're not, let's say, I'll make it about me. If I don't have gratitude, I'm not grateful about what I have and where God has brought me.
Right.
And I'm not humble. People will see that, and I think they'll see that first in the chaplain. So I want to lead by gratitude and humility, that it's okay to associate and talk to people of any rank, any class, anything like that.
Right.
Because we've all been created by God, and we're human beings. And my job is to love them
Mm-hmm.
and serve them and take care of them. And when we do that, I believe that helps our commanders quite a bit to get the mission done.
Terrific, sir. Thank you so much. Our guest has been OSI Command Chaplain Major Jon Smithley. Sir, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. I really enjoyed my conversation and for meeting you here on Zoom.
Hey, thank you. God bless to all.
And thanks to all of you listening for tuning in. For OSI Today, my OSI Journey, I'm Wayne Amon saying so long for now.